Hi, and welcome back to another Keller Williams Partner Southwest Unplugged. And we are here with Mr. Christopher Tello. But, Chris,
Me.
before we start,
Mm-hmm.
I got this for you. There you
There
go.
you go.
So, Chris, thanks for coming to talk with us today. And tell me, one thing I think the audience wants to know is how did you get into real estate?
Well, it goes back almost 25 years. We moved down from New York back in 2000.
Ooh,
I was working in a hotel in New York, part-time real estate, and then we came down here. I got a job at a big hotel down in Miami. When I saw that paycheck the first time, I think I owed them money. I was like, no, this ain't gonna happen. This is it, you know. And I knew that real estate was something that we liked because I said we because Natasha, she was also working real estate in New York,
okay.
and they think there's flexibility that everybody thinks you have. Yeah, the money was good. I think most importantly was the satisfaction of being able to go to closing, hand the keys over to the people, being able to help them out, and getting their helping them meet their goals.
Right.
And I think South Florida was growing. It was like nothing. I mean, it was literally Miramar Parkway. For those of you that know Miramar Parkway, it's only 2 lanes.
Yeah, I
There's
remember that.
cows everywhere. You know, there was construction all over the place. So it was like, this may be a good idea to really get to understand and know the communities and start building a real estate business here in Florida.
Where were you guys living? Were you in Broward at the time or were you living in Miami?
Actually, we when we came down, we came down there for like a couple of days.
Mhm.
We rented an apartment on by Pembroke Lakes Mall, and we
Okay.
contracted in a community called Riviera Isles, which is west of 75.
Right.
But we bought it all based on floor plans because there was nothing out there. So yeah, that's where we lived. Yeah, we lived there pretty much the entire time that we've been here since 2000.
Wow. And I know many didn't know how you guys actually got an elevated to now owing Keller Williams franchises. But I remember when I started in real estate, I remember the Tello team, and you guys were heavily involved in REOs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just share a little bit about that, how you got into real estate owned, if REOs, that's what that means,
Well,
bank foreclosures.
with we were always have been traditional agents. Just so happens that the market tanked in 2007, 2008, and 2009. So we had nothing. We had to pivot. We had no choice but to find out what was happening. So we looked at the MLS and saw what was. Gary always says, look into the market that you're going at, the one that you're in. So we
Mm.
saw that a lot of the properties that were being sold at that time, although they were trickling down slowly, there were properties that were bank foreclosures.
Right.
So we started doing, this is before the internet was, before Al Gore invented the internet, big time. So we had to do our research, as best as we could, and we were looking at message boards, and REO industry was a very tight knit,
Hmm.
good old boys tight knit community. That people weren't into sharing and teaching you, so we really had to learn how to do it and investigate a lot of the stuff on our own. So we knew that one of the ways to get in was doing BPOs. So we did BPOs, a lot of BPOs, a lot of long hours, blood, sweat, and tears doing BPOs. Um, and then we got a shot at one bank. Daisy actually hooked us up with, Daisy from the Legacy
Western?
or Western
Yeah,
office.
David Fuentes.
Yeah, she came up with an opportunity and shared it with us, and we, and pretty much from that we took off. We took off because now we had experience, right, on in
Hmm.
REOs. So we had something that we could put on our resumes when we went to ask the big banks and the big GSCs to give us the opportunity.
And then you just took off from there with the Tello team, right?
Well, no, we had a team. I mean, the team obviously grew at that point because we were carrying close to 300 something property, almost close to
Wow.
400 properties. So we had, in REOs, it's very labor dependent. And labor
Hmm.
dependent means you had to hire a whole bunch of people. So we had people to answer the phones, and then we had people to check the properties
Properties,
to make sure
right?
that nobody had, broken into
Hmm.
or was squatting and stuff like that. Then we had people that had to do the BPOs for us, so it was systematized. And a lot of people, fortunately, a lot of people that we had as a team, have grown on into different
Right.
positions within. As we disbanded the REO team, they went into different positions here within the company.
Yeah, we do know a few of those that
Yeah, for
moved
sure.
on
Yeah,
and
yeah,
elevated and moved
yeah,
forward
yeah.
and become
God bless
leaders.
them.
So
Yep,
that's good for them.
yep.
So here we are. We appreciate that. Tell us if you want to share with anybody what you think about with the market now. Give them a good word, how to handle the market now since you've been through it.
Well, I've been up. I've been through the ups and downs quite a few times. So I think one of the things that are constant, and I'm guilty of doing it and not doing it, right? Is the basics. If they go back to basic, which is what prospect and talk to people. I think back when I was growing up in this business, back in the ice age, we didn't have dialers. We didn't have
Yeah.
the lists to be able
To make calls
put
and
them in the calls. We literally have books, huge books. You had to call and manually dial. And you had the Harmon Homes. You had those publications you would pick up in the newsstands. Now I think it's a lot. I want to say easy, but simpler, right? Because now you have social media, which is a big help.
right.
I'm not into social media as of yet. It's probably one of the first interviews that I've done. I hide all the time when it comes to interviews and stuff like that. But I know it's a necessary evil, right? But I think the agents really uh, have to have identify which is the pillar that best works for them. For some, it could be for them. Some of it could be the phones. Some of it could be
Mm-hmm.
social media. Some could be door knocking. I think all of them are important. I think if you do better at one, focus on that one, so that way you start building up your book of business for sure.
I love that. So basically, choose a pillar that works best for you and your niche that you're going
Yeah,
after, and
yeah.
then go for it. Back to the
Identify
basics.
identify where it is that you want to work. What's your find out what's has the highest turnovers.
Yeah,
So where it is that you want to work, but also identify which is the one that works best for you in order to accumulate your contacts and your leads, and which eventually turn into deals.
okay. I love it. And here we are on Keller Williams Partners Unplugged. Thank you, Christopher.
My pleasure.
All righty. We're out.